Little boy showed her bruises to a biker. The Iron Hawk didn't even finish their coffee. Is a powerful emotional story. Subscribe to the channel, like the video, and share it to support meaningful stories that inspire courage and humanity. The Iron Hawk biker crew rolled into a quiet roadside diner just outside Flagstaff, Arizona, early in the morning. The desert air was still cold, engines ticking as they cooled. Inside, the smell of coffee and fried eggs filled the room. It was supposed to be a simple stop. Jack Iron Hawk Miller, 46, sat at the corner booth, his leather vest folded beside him. Years in the Marines had trained his eyes to notice details others missed. That was why he saw the boy standing near the counter, staring at them with nervous curiosity. The boy looked no older than 8. His shoes were scuffed, his jeans faded at the knees. He wasn't begging or smiling. He just stood there, hands clenched, as if gathering courage. His eyes kept returning to Jack, then quickly looking away. Jack took a slow sip of coffee, pretending not to stare. Something about the kid felt wrong. Not hunger, not mischief, fear. The kind that sits deep in the chest. Jack had seen that look before, in war zones and broken homes alike. The waitress passed by, refilling cups, unaware. The rest of the Iron Hawk crew joked quietly, their laughter low and controlled. Outside, their bikes gleamed in the morning sun. Inside, the diner felt suddenly too small for what was about to happen. The boy took a step closer, then another. His hands trembled slightly. Jack placed his cup down gently and leaned back, keeping his posture open. No sudden movements, no biker intimidation. Just calm, just presence. Without saying a word, the boy lifted his sleeve. Dark purple and yellow bruises wrapped around his thin arm, finger-shaped marks, old and new. Jack's jaw tightened, but his face remained still. The diner noise faded into the background. All he could see were those marks. "Who did that?" Jack asked quietly. The boy shook his head, eyes filling with tears. "Please don't tell," he whispered. "He gets mad." Jack nodded slowly. "You did the right thing," he said. "You're safe right now." He motioned for the waitress with a small hand gesture. When she came over, Jack spoke calmly, like a man ordering dessert. "This kid needs help, right now. Call the manager." The waitress looked at the boy's arm and froze. Her smile disappeared. She nodded and walked away quickly. The rest of the Iron Hawk crew noticed the shift. Conversation stopped. Every biker sat straighter, alert, silent. Jack slid out of the booth and crouched to the boy's level. "Where's your mom?" he asked gently. "She's at home," the boy said. "He won't let her leave." Jack exhaled slowly. He already knew the kind of man he was. He placed his jacket loosely around the boy's shoulders, not to hide him, but to comfort him. The leather smelled like road dust and oil. The boy relaxed slightly. The diner manager arrived, pale and shaken. Jack spoke clearly, firmly. "This child is being abused. You're calling the police and child services. Now, I'll stay." No threats, no raised voice, just authority earned through years of discipline. The manager nodded and picked up the phone. The Iron Hawk crew remained seated, blocking exits without making it obvious. No one was leaving until help arrived. The boy stayed close to Jack, gripping the edge of his jacket. Sirens echoed faintly in the distance. Jack didn't touch his coffee again. Some things mattered more than breakfast. Outside, the desert sun climbed higher. Inside the diner, a line had been crossed, and there was no turning back. The police arrived quietly, 2 patrol cars pulling into the diner parking lot without sirens. Jack noticed before anyone else. Old instincts. He gently placed a hand on the boy's shoulder. "They're here to help," he said softly. The boy nodded, though his grip tightened. 2 officers entered, scanning the room. Their eyes paused on the Iron Hawk crew, but moved on when they saw the child. The waitress pointed discreetly. One officer knelt in front of the boy, speaking calmly, while the other listened to Jack's brief, precise explanation. The boy answered questions in a small voice. He didn't cry. That worried Jack more than tears would have. Children who stopped crying had learned that no one listened. Jack stayed close, not interfering, just present, letting the boy know he wasn't alone anymore. Child Protective Services arrived soon after, a woman in her late 30s with tired eyes and a gentle tone. She examined the bruises carefully, documenting everything. Her face hardened, professional but angry. She looked at Jack and gave a short nod. This was serious. "Can you take us to your house?" she asked the boy. The boy hesitated. He might be there. Jack leaned down again. "They won't let him hurt you," he said. "I promise." The Iron Hawk crew watched silently as the boy and CPS worker walked outside with the officers. Jack followed, but stopped at the door. He wasn't going to insert himself further. This part belonged to the system, if it worked the way it should. Minutes later, one officer returned. "We'll need a witness statement," he said. Jack nodded. "You'll get it." He sat back in the booth, finally letting the tension hit him. His hands were steady, but his chest felt heavy. Across from him, one of his crew members, Tom, spoke quietly. "You did right, Hawk." Jack didn't answer. He was thinking about how many kids never made it to a diner, how many never found the courage to lift a sleeve. The door opened again. This time the CPS worker returned alone. "The mother is alive," she said carefully. "She's scared. There's a history of violence. We're going to get her out." Jack closed his eyes for a moment. Relief washed through him, followed by anger that had nowhere to go. "Good," he said. "She deserves that chance." Outside, the morning traffic passed like nothing had changed. Inside the diner, no one spoke much. Plates sat untouched. Coffee went cold. The waitress wiped the counter over and over, her hands shaking. An hour later, the police returned with news. The abuser had been located at the house. He resisted. He was now in custody. Jack felt something loosen inside his chest. Not satisfaction, closure. The CPS worker thanked him before leaving. "Most people look away," she said. "You didn't." Jack shrugged slightly. "The kid asked for help. That was all." The Iron Hawk crew paid their bill and stood up. Leather vests went back on. Helmets were picked up. As they stepped outside, the sun was higher now, warming the asphalt. Life moving forward, as it always did. Before mounting his bike, Jack looked back at the diner one last time. The boy wasn't there anymore. That was a good thing. Engines roared to life, loud and steady. The crew pulled onto the highway heading south. No one spoke over the radios. Some moments didn't need words. Miles later, Jack finally took a breath he felt like he'd been holding all morning. He knew the road ahead would be long, but today, at least, it had led somewhere that mattered. Somewhere behind them a child was safe, a mother had hope, and a cycle had cracked, maybe even broken. Jack rode on, the untouched coffee still sitting on a diner table, forgotten, exactly where it belonged.